Welcome back to Whatever You Need, the place where music meets emotion and stories turn into moments you can feel. If you love hearing about the most unforgettable nights in Turkish entertainment, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap join to support us even more, because tonight's story is one for the books. Last night, Istanbul didn't just witness a concert, it lived through a confession. Beneath the golden lights of a packed concert hall, Barış Baktaş, the actor-turned-musician who's been at the center of whispers for months, stepped into something far greater than performance. From the first chord that rippled through the room, there was electricity in the air, a collective sense that something extraordinary was about to unfold. The evening began with a calm confidence. Barış took the stage with his usual charm, greeting fans as if they were old friends. His smile carried the warmth of someone completely at home under the spotlight. Every note he played felt like a thread weaving through the audience's hearts. People swayed, sang, and cheered. They were not mere spectators, they were participants in a shared heartbeat. The set list, carefully arranged, painted a journey through joy, longing, and nostalgia. But then, the air shifted. Between songs, Barış laughed, joked, and stepped down toward the edge of the stage to clasp the hands reaching out to him. He let the audience finish verses, smiled at the memories his lyrics stirred. It was a night built not on distance but on closeness. And then, in a pause that stretched just long enough to make everyone hold their breath, he took a step back, placed his hand on his chest, and said the words that changed everything. Every melody I've touched tonight, he began softly, was meant for one soul. I'm singing for Yağmur. The hall erupted. It wasn't a wave, it was a storm. Screams, tears, laughter, applause, an emotional eruption that shook the walls. For months, fans had speculated about his connection with Yağmur Yüksel, the woman who has lingered like a muse behind his lyrics. But last night, he erased every doubt with one sentence. Phones rose like stars in the dark, thousands recorded the moment from every angle. Within minutes, the confession was trending. Social media transformed into a flood of admiration, disbelief, and joy. He finally said it, one fan posted. We've waited so long for this. Others called it the most romantic moment of the year, praising the vulnerability in his voice, the sincerity in his gaze. Remember to like this video and comment below. What do you think of such a bold confession in front of thousands? Do you believe artists should reveal their muses, or should the mystery remain part of the art? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to Whatever You Need for more incredible stories like this one. As the applause faded, Barış smiled, not the practiced smile of a performer, but the soft one of a man unburdened. He took a breath, strummed his guitar once more, and continued. Each note after that sounded different, filled with newfound warmth. Several times, his eyes glistened under the lights, as if each lyric carried a fragment of truth too heavy to hide. Sometimes, he whispered between songs, your reason for creating comes down to one soul. That's what happened to me. The hall responded with thunderous applause, and for a moment, it felt as though Istanbul itself paused to listen. Backstage, the air buzzed with speculation. Some crew members exchanged stunned glances, others whispered, "Did you hear that?" The question wasn't whether it was love, it was how long it had been quietly alive. Yağmur Yüksel herself remained silent, her social media untouched. That silence only amplified the storm outside. Was it a planned revelation or a spontaneous burst of honesty? No one knew, and maybe that was what made it so powerful. Meanwhile, clips of his confession raced through every corner of the internet. The video of him saying, "I sing for Yağmur," flooded timelines, gathering millions of views within hours. Fans reposted the moment again and again, calling it history in motion. One user wrote, "He didn't just sing, he confessed." Another commented, "You can feel the love even through the screen." As the night deepened, Barış returned to the stage for his encore. Gone was the playful showman who had opened the night. What came back was a poet. He stood in the spotlight with nothing but his guitar and a quiet smile. "Sometimes you think the stage can hide what's in your chest," he said, "but it can't. Tonight, every song has one listener, and that listener is Yağmur." The crowd exploded once more. People shouted his name, cried openly, and clapped until their palms turned red. In those final minutes, the concert hall became a sanctuary of shared emotion. It wasn't just about a musician and his muse, it was about truth finding its voice in front of thousands. Even as the lights dimmed and the first few fans began to leave, no one wanted to let go of the magic. Groups gathered outside, replaying the confession like an urban legend forming in real time. "This will be remembered," one woman said, still shaking with excitement. "He gave us a piece of his heart." By the time the last echoes faded from the hall, Istanbul had already started rewriting its own musical history. People were calling it the night of confession, the moment when a performance became something sacred. Entertainment pages began speculating about what would come next: a public appearance together, a music video featuring Yağmur, or perhaps a collaboration that would seal this story in melody forever. Inside Whatever You Need, we can't help but wonder, was this pure spontaneity, or a carefully planned declaration wrapped in artistry? Whatever it was, it reminded everyone why we fall in love with music in the first place, because it reveals what words alone cannot carry. If you were there that night, or even if you watched the clips online, you probably felt it too, the tremor that ran through the crowd, the moment when art and heart collided. And maybe that's what true performance really is, standing under blinding lights and saying, "This is me, no matter the cost." As the story continues to ripple through social media, one thing is certain: Barış Baktaş has turned his art into a public love letter, and Yağmur Yüksel now lives within every verse he sings. Istanbul may move on to its next concert soon, but this night will remain etched in its rhythm, replayed in countless hearts. Don't forget to tell us what you think. Was this the most touching confession you've ever seen on stage? And which celebrity moment would you like us to cover next? Comment below, subscribe, and if you want to help us bring even more stories to life, tap that join button to support Whatever You Need. Until next time, keep your hearts open, keep your playlists full, and remember, on Whatever You Need, every story has a rhythm, sometimes it sounds just like love. Inside Whatever You Need, we can't help but wonder, was this pure spontaneity, or a carefully planned declaration wrapped in artistry? Whatever it was, it reminded everyone why we fall in love with music in the first place, because it reveals what words alone cannot carry. If you were there that night, or even if you watched the clips online, you probably felt it too, the tremor that ran through the crowd, the moment when art and heart collided. And maybe that's what true performance really is, standing under blinding lights and saying, "This is me, no matter the cost." As the story continues to ripple through social media, one thing is certain: Barış Baktaş has turned his art into a public love letter, and Yağmur Yüksel now lives within every verse he sings. Istanbul may move on to its next concert soon, but this night will remain etched in its rhythm, replayed in countless hearts. Don't forget to tell us what you think. Was this the most touching confession you've ever seen on stage? And which celebrity moment would you like us to cover next? Comment below, subscribe, and if you want to help us bring even more stories to life, tap that join button to support Whatever You Need. Until next time, Keep your hearts open, keep your playlists full, and remember, on whatever you need, every story has a rhythm. Sometimes, it sounds just like love.